Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a look outside that weather window. And another nice one on this Wednesday. Some sunshine mixed with some clouds as we look down at the valley, the Wenatchee Valley. It's from our cross camera up on Wenatchee Heights, and you can see a little bit of blue sky out there today. Temperatures did warm fairly nicely. We were above normal today. But we have some changes. It's going to be nice tomorrow and once again on Friday. But as we get into Saturday, I think for the Wenatchee area, about a 50-50 chance that we'll see a rain mixed with snow event coming on Saturday. But the real problems, if you're heading over the passes, we could see some snow there. And then next week, bundle up. We're going to see highs only in the teens to mid-20s with lows in the single digits. And we'll have your complete North Central Washington weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A fire broke out just after noon today in the Wenatchee Rescue Mission Safe Park on Ohme Garden Road. An Okanogan County woman faces possible charges of animal abuse after an investigation turned up dead and ailing horses at her rural property. And a fifth defendant has entered a plea in a gang-related shooting that took place in East Wenatchee in the summer of 2021. But first, our top story tonight. The suspect in a brutal murder on Badger Mountain Road over the weekend again refused to speak when brought before a judge today. Prosecutors say they're considering 6 charges against Dalton Scott Potter in the murder of 37-year-old Alyssa Longwell, who was shot to death Saturday in front of witnesses as she lay along the road. Potter, who's 27, remains held in the Chelan County Jail on $3 million bond. Although he refused to answer questions in a Douglas County court hearing today, Judge Brian Huber told Potter he could face life in prison if convicted.
The state has accused you of 6 criminal charges. I'm going to walk through them right now for you. Counts 1 through 4 are all Class A felonies, and we'll talk about that. Count 1 is murder in the first degree domestic violence. Count 2 is attempted murder in the second degree. Count 3 is attempted murder in the second degree. And count 4 is robbery in the first degree. Each of those 4 counts is a Class A felony, which means each of those 4 counts has a maximum penalty of life in prison and a fine of up to $50,000. Count 5 is theft of a firearm. That charge is a Class B felony with a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $20,000. Count 6 is malicious mischief in the second degree, which is a Class C felony with a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000.
The formal charges against Potter were due to be filed today. He faces another court hearing coming up on February 9th. A fire broke out just after noon today in the Wenatchee Rescue Mission Safe Park on Ohme Garden Road. The facility, on land recently purchased by the city of Wenatchee, provides parking and outreach services for unhoused people living in their vehicle. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department says the fire was reported at 12:11 p.m. and was under control about 20 minutes later. No injuries in that fire were immediately reported. The cause is under investigation. An Okanogan County woman faces possible charges of animal abuse after an investigation turned up dead and ailing horses at her rural property. Sheriff Paul Boudreau says his deputies investigated a complaint at a home in northern Okanogan County last week and discovered 3 dead horses. They served a search warrant on Sunday and allegedly found a total of 5 horses, all dead from apparent dehydration or starvation, plus a surviving horse that was underweight. Deputies said there was no sign of food or water left out for the animals. The property owner was arrested but had not been charged as of this afternoon. Boudreau said the surviving horse was taken into foster care. Well, in other news, a 5th defendant has entered a plea in a gang-related shooting that took place in East Wenatchee in the summer of 2021. 21-year-old Gustavo Pena Guyona pleaded guilty Tuesday to charges of third-degree assault, criminal gang intimidation, and rendering criminal assistance. East Wenatchee police say 6 people were involved in the shooting near City Hall, which arose from a gang dispute and left 1 man wounded in the leg. 4 of them have already entered pleas in Douglas County Superior Court, receiving sentences ranging from 10 months in jail to 3.5 years in prison. Guyona faces sentencing on February 3rd, when he could receive up to 6 months in jail. Only one person, 18-year-old Angel Eduardo Montez, still awaits trial in the case, with charges including first-degree assault and robbery. Well, when we come back, about 1/3 of short-term rental operations in Chelan County initially failed their fire inspections last year. The lineup for the Science in Our Valley Spring Seminar Series has been announced by the Apple STEM Network. And a Wenatchee High School sophomore was one of 13 students who served as Senate pages last week. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back. In another news, about 1/3 of short-term rental operations in Chelan County initially failed their fire inspections last year. That's the word in the 2022 annual report from County Fire Marshal Stefan Rinaldi, who represented his findings to the county commissioners on Tuesday. Rinaldi said 209 out of 703 rentals that applied for county relicensing did not pass their first inspection. However, all but a handful of them did pass a second inspection and obtained their county operations permit.
You can see that we did have a significant amount of occupancies with regards to short-term rentals that did have deficiencies when they were inspected. And so we did start to capture the re-inspection numbers there. And that's one of those things that we're actually going to be able to capture better this year moving forward. There were a lot more re-inspections that were actually completed because there were obviously they had to be completed or corrected. Those deficiencies need to be corrected in order for them to get their permits renewed. I believe most everything has been renewed and all those were corrected.
The lineup for the Science in Our Valley Spring Seminar Series has been announced by the Apple STEM Network. The 8 sessions will span from February to April and present local research and innovation on topics ranging from materials science to the impacts of climate change. All events are free and open to the public at the Washington State University Tree Fruit Research and Extension Center in Wenatchee. Prior registration is not required to attend. The first series is on February 1st at 4 p.m. and will highlight a potential shift in local agricultural practices. Well, a Wenatchee High School sophomore was one of 13 students who served as Senate pages last week. Amelia McAllister, who was sponsored by Senator Brad Hawkins, was part of the Senate Page program. The program allows Washington students between the ages of 14 and 16 to work in a legislature for a week. While at work, students transport documents between offices and spend time in the Senate chamber. McAllister worked on a mock bill focusing on homelessness while she was there and even had the chance to perform a piano recital in the state reception room. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
NCWLIFE Channel is your home for local sports with the Wenatchee Panthers at East Wildcats right here. Coverage brought to you by Abby's Pizza, Biosports Physical Therapy, Clean Connection, Coldwell Banker Cascade, Confluence Health, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Global Car Care, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Highlander Golf Course and Grill, Kennedy Real Estate Group, Les Schwab, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, and Together for You. Follow all the action right here on the NCWLIFE Channel.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, Governor Jay Inslee gave testimony on Tuesday for a constitutional amendment to keep abortion legal in the state of Washington. The amendment needs a 2/3 vote in the Senate and House before it can pass on to a vote by the people. States are free to legislate abortion rights since the U.S. Supreme Court Dobbs decision last year. Inslee spoke before the Senate Health and Long-Term Care Committee.
So we are now at a historic moment of a fight for a woman's right of choice in the state of Washington. And it is time for pro-choice states, and Washington state is a pro-choice state, to take appropriate action to guarantee this right. We cannot be lulled into thinking that this is something that is in the past debate. It is a current challenge, and it is a current threat to the women of the state of Washington. Just 2 weeks into our legislative session, multiple bills have been introduced here to limit a woman's right of choice and to limit who can perform abortions and to punish abortion providers. That's why we are here today. I respect all legislators in the state legislature, but no matter how intelligent they are, or how wise they are, or how gifted they are, I do not believe any legislator has the right to order any woman in the state of Washington to undergo a forced pregnancy. That is not consistent with the values of the state of Washington, and it is not showing disrespect for legislators. It is showing respect for the women of this state. I believe this right of choice needs to be included in our Constitution. It needs to be enshrined in our Constitution, and it needs to be embedded in our Constitution. A woman's right of choice is so fundamental in the most intimate decision of her life that it cannot be left to the whims of who happens to sit on the bench or who happens to sit in the legislature. This is a personal right. And by embedding this and enshrining this in our state constitution, we will simply be adding this right to those that are already guaranteed by the current Constitution and its 32 preceding amendments. We have a right to free speech in our Constitution. We have a right to privacy and equality and the right to assembly. We should have a right free from intrusion of politicians, the right to make this intimate decision by women in the state of Washington.
Let's take a look now at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope your Wednesday was a good one. Really no complaints weather-wise once again. Tumwater Sky-Fi Tower camera looking down at the upper valley. Still plenty of snow up that way. We have had snow on the ground here for over 80 days now in the Wenatchee area, going back, all the way to the first part of November. But I hope you get out and enjoy the next couple of days because we have a lot of cold air coming our way. We'll get to that in a second. Today, though, not bad. 38 unofficially at the airport. It's a few degrees above where we should be for this time of year at 35 degrees. Record high temperature 56, and that was set in 1992. This morning we were at 21, 25 is normal. Our record low 4 degrees, and that was set in 2008. Sunrise this morning 7:35, and sunset now at 4:52. Let's take a look at our Thursday temperatures, and as I mentioned earlier, get out and enjoy tomorrow and again on Friday. Our temperatures, they're going to be nice. A little bit cooler back in the Columbia Basin. We're seeing some cooler northern air coming from the northeast, and that will affect this part of our viewing area. But Wenatchee, we'll see about 38. Ellensburg, Cashmere, mid-30s, Eniat and Chelan. So a little bit warmer air back here in the Wenatchee Valley. Should be a pretty nice day. Tonight we expect partly cloudy skies. Still this area of high pressure that's dominating our weather. That will allow a few clouds to ride down the back side of it, and maybe just partly cloudy skies tonight. For Tuesday, or I should say Thursday then, more clouds will move in. This area of low pressure right here, it's also bringing some clouds back into portions of eastern Washington. Upper 30s though. Enjoy those temperatures tomorrow. Even better as we get into Friday. Partly cloudy and warmer. We will see highs in the low 40s to end our work week. But that's the end of that. As we get into the upcoming weekend, Saturday, mostly cloudy. Here's our next little weather maker. It's not a very strong area of low pressure, but just enough to bring some scattered snow and rain showers to us on Saturday. About a 40% chance, and we'll cool down a bit into the mid-30s. And then we're going to cool down a lot as we get into Sunday. Notice the cold air rushing in from the northeast. We also have some cold air straight from the north. The pinkish colors, those are below zero temperatures. We're not going to quite be that cold, but by Monday, sunny skies with temperatures highs only in the upper teens, lows in the single digits. For Tuesday, not much change. The only difference is we'll see more clouds for Tuesday. It's still going to be cold. You can see some of the cloudiness around the area. High temperatures on Tuesday, once again, only in those upper teens. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast brought to you tonight by Apple Valley Honda. Not too bad for our overnight low tonight. We will drop down to 28 degrees for tomorrow, mostly cloudy and 38. Let's circle Friday. Partly cloudy and warmer, highs 42. Won't that feel nice? And then a chance for the wet stuff on Saturday, about a 40% chance. Rain mixed with snow and 35. And then here we go with that cold air moving in on us. 22, the high temperature on Sunday with a low of 5 degrees, only 19 for the high temperature. That's on both Monday and Tuesday. Low temperature Monday at 6 and a low on Tuesday, 8 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Join NCWLIFE Channel for live coverage of the Apple Blossom Royalty Selection Pageant presented by Cashmere Valley Bank on Saturday, February 11th. The countdown to coronation at 6 and the pageant at 7 o'clock. Coverage is brought to you by Coldwell Banker Cascade, Confluence Health, Harvest Valley Pest Control, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Join us for the Apple Blossom Festival Royalty Selection Pageant on the NCWLIFE Channel.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
USA Sports Update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. The Seattle Kraken get back on the ice in NHL play tonight. Seattle welcomes the Vancouver Canucks to Climate Pledge Arena coming up at 7 o'clock. So far this season has been a rough go against their neighbors to the north, dropping both games in October and December by 1 goal each. The Kraken third in the Pacific Division of the Western Conference at 27-14-5 with 59 points. They're 1 point behind second place LA and 2 points back of first place Vegas. Vancouver, meanwhile, is in sixth in the Pacific Division at 19-25-3, 41 points on the season. You can watch all the action on Root Sports Northwest. Well, the Wenatchee Wild have a couple more days off before from the All-Star break before starting a game, in fact, 2-game series coming up this weekend in BCHL play. Wenatchee set to host the Vernon Vipers Friday and Saturday at the Town Toyota Center. This will be the fourth meeting of the season between the Wild and Vipers. Broadcast voice of the Wild, Austin Drade, says the team with home ice has done well so far in the series.
Every game against the Vipers is a battle, and the home team has won every game in the series so far this year. So we're hoping to do it again, but it's going to be a battle to win these 2 games. And if we're going to make a climb in the standings, down to 17 games every week the rest of the way through February and March, we'll have at least 1 game. So home stretch starts right now. It's time to get it done.
Yeah, as Austin alluded to, Wenatchee lost at Vernon December 3rd, 4-2, then beat the Vipers here on December 13th, 4-1. Last time the two teams met, December 17th at Vernon, Vipers coming out on top 3-2. That makes the season goal count between the two teams dead even at 8-8. After this weekend, Wenatchee has only 9 games remaining at home ice, and Drade says it's a good opportunity for the Wild.
That's good for the crowd. It's good for the schedule. Give the guys a more regular schedule to look forward to. Give them a chance to sleep in their own beds, eat their own billet family's food along the way, and stay in the normal routine. And at the same time, it's good for us as well, because if we can stay in the hunt, and we've got those home games that we know we can count on. Number one, if we can make a run, we can do it at home in front of the crowds while that's ramping up. And universally in hockey, I think when you start getting past the first of the year, the crowds tend to get better, so that will be on our side as well, and we're going to do our best in the front office to keep that part going.
Wild marketing guy David Rayfield says Friday is a special promotion for dads and daughters.
It's a BOGO program. Bring your daughter and you can get a ticket free for her and then just buy yours. So this one we kind of made up a few years ago, and it really blew up more than we thought. You know, you think of daddy-daughter, you think a young dad and his young daughter, but we had all age range, so it was a lot of fun. We take a photo on the ice afterwards to kind of commemorate the evening, bring the players out, and then just on the concourse we have a lot of fun activities. We'll have like the circus out there, we'll have a karaoke station kind of thing. We're gonna have a photo booth where you can stop and our photographer will take a photo for you. So a lot of fun interactive things with your daughter, and then as always just get to come out and cheer on some hockey. So
then Saturday's theme comes from a galaxy far, far away. It's Star Wars night for all you Ewok and Android fans. Rayfield says you'll want to be sure to get there early.
Also, Plum Perfect's giving away 1,000 beanies that night, so be one of the first fans through the door on Star Wars night, and you're going to get yourself a brand new beanie with our 15th year logo. But like you said, running out of schedule, so if you're thinking, hey, I want to bring the family out or my company out, we're running out of games. So all Fridays and Saturdays left. It's an exciting home schedule to finish the season for us in the marketing department, at least.
So Friday's game starts at 7:05. Saturday's game gets underway at 6:05. Again, looking at the remaining schedule, only 9 home games remain after this weekend. Be sure to get your tickets online at WenatcheeWildHockey.com. Well, the Big 9 girls bowling season came to a close yesterday at Eastmont Lanes. Wenatchee took care of Moses Lake 3-1, outpinning the Mavericks 1947 to 15-19. High bowlers for the Panthers were Charlene Campbell with a 225 and Ava Porter with a 201. Just down a few lanes, it came down to a pin count to determine the winner between West Valley and Eastmont. Rams came out on top 3-2 after outpinning the Wildcats 17-63 to 16-10. Eastmont took the first head-to-head game 742 to 711. Rams came back to win the second game 743 to 594. Eastmont won the first Baker 142 to 135. So it came down to the final Baker. West Valley coming out on top 174 to 132. Wenatchee will host the district tournament coming up on Friday. That starts at 1 o'clock at Eastmont Lands. There were 2 wrestling matches last night to report on. Came down to the last match in Sela, where Freda knocked off the Vikings in CWAC action, 39-33 the final. Non-league tussle, Kashmir beat Okanogan in the Battle of the Bulldogs, 42-27. Now, we will be at Eastmont High School for senior night tomorrow night as the Wildcats host the Wenatchee Panthers. I'll be Matt side with your call, live on Facebook at 7. The match will air on TV at about 10:30 tomorrow night. Season is winding down for area high school basketball teams with jockeying for postseason positions in high gear. On the girls' hardwood last night, it was Omak over Quincy, 71-20. Bridgeport won by 9 over Liberty Bell. Okanogan took down Lake Roosevelt 92-48. Brewster beat Tonasket 59-53. Waterville Mansfield celebrated senior nights with a 70-24 win over Entiat. Moses Lake Christian edged Pateras 40-32. Soap Lake stopped Cascade Christian 35-22. Boys basketball last night, Braden Boyd scored 28 points while Dylan Jay had 20 to lead Chelan over Cascade 72-54. Quincy won a high-scoring affair over Omak 87-78, giving the Jackrabbits the Caribou Trail League regular season championship. Congrats. North Central Washington B-League play last night. Okanogan handed Lake Roosevelt its first league loss, 49-42. Brewster stayed in the hunt with an 80-66 win over Tonasket. Liberty Bell remains tied with Lake Roosevelt for first after an 80-17 win over Bridgeport. Entiat spoiled senior night for the Shockers, winning in Waterville 45-32. Moses Lake Christian remained perfect in league play with a 78-35 win in Pateras. Soap Lake, meanwhile, stopped Cascade Christian 68-28. Now, coming up, we have the third and final meetings between Eastmont and Wenatchee basketball teams Friday here on the NCWLIFE channel. Wildcats host the Panthers at Eastmont High School, with the girls going first at 5:45 live on Facebook. The game will air on TV later at 10:30 Friday. The boys game will be live on TV and Facebook at the same time at 7:30. Grant and I will be courtside with your play-by-play. That's a look at sports news. Speaking of, Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Looking forward to it. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, my friend. On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, it's an old friend of mine, Katie Grove, who has transitioned from Columbia Valley Community Health, a great organization, to Confluence, another great organization.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to see you again.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to be seen.
I imagine.
Get to know Katie. She's one of my favorite people, and you can do that on tomorrow's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Back to you.
Thanks, guys. And that'll do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night. News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE channel.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.